since our Republicans have taken over, to say it nicely.
Yeah, the whole thing's gonna be
Morning,
changing.
guys.
Yeah.
Good
Morning,
morning.
Nico.
Changes come in.
Talk to you later,
Welcome,
Robert.
welcome.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well,
Running a
yeah.
little late here. I'm gonna please mute yourself out. I'm gonna mute you if you're talking. If you're not talking to me, if you're talking to me, come off mute. If you're not talking to me, mute yourself out so that the rest of us don't have to hear your conversations in the background. Other than that, welcome everybody. Glad to see you here. Sorry, I'm running a tiny bit late here today, trying to get things situated. All right. We are live, we are recording, and things are moving. All right. Let's go. I'm gonna share my screen here. We're gonna jump over to the charts. And let's see what's going on in the world today. Bitcoin, crypto, going all over the place. All right. Everybody see my screen okay? Thumbs up. Yes. Yes, okay.
Yep.
All right, good. All right, guys, what is this? What is this droppity drop going on here? Bitcoin was on its way up. Oh, this is XLM. I gave a signal for XLM last night before I went to bed because saw something happening on the chart, and I'll show you what that is. You see right here, we were pumping up to this level, and these two wicks right here were hitting a major resistance level going all the way back to here, which was support and resistance, and we were hitting that, coming back up. Let's go see what is going on there, and I am on that chart right here. We did get above it. This was when I gave the signal right here. We did get above it, and probably was up, I don't know, $500-600 in profit before I went to bed, and then thinking that it was going to pop up to somewhere up in this level up here overnight. I think I put the TP somewhere up here at the, let me just see where I put that, at 0.4834, which is right about 4834, right about here. Because over here we do have, it was a nice little zone here of resistance, and we were breaking this one here, so I felt that that's where it was going. I moved my stop loss right under this line before I went to sleep, and obviously it fell and stopped me out. This is the risk, guys. This is what we do. Sometimes we, you know, I'm okay waking up and seeing that my TP was hit, but I also can go to sleep knowing that if it doesn't do what I want it to do, then I'm not really risking much or losing much because I have pretty tight stop loss. But when you see a big, I mean, first of all, we got a couple things happening here on XLM. We got a big move. We got a W. We got a broke to the upside of the W. We hit resistance. We broke through that. We held a support. Normally, those are indications, right? Those are good indicators. And why is it coming back down? Good question, but it might just be coming down to retest this level one more time, because we did retest this level right here. What is this level? Let me just put this right here. That's all we're retesting right there, which was resistance, resistance, resistance. We didn't actually retest that until just now. We came up and hit this resistance, dropped back down, but right here, we didn't really go that far down. We didn't go all the way to there. And so to me, we're just possibly just retesting, which was a previous resistance zone, and not that big of a deal. And I'm assuming, I'm hoping and predicting that it's probably going to climb back up. I'm not in the trade right now. Possibly this would be a good entry to get back in. In fact, I'm going to, just for the hell of it, just to see what happens here. I'm going to go ahead and go long again on XRP on this bounce. And I'm going to put a stop loss right under that line, because if it doesn't hold here, then this whole thing was for some other reason. And it is certainly possible that it doesn't hold, but going into the weekend, things are a little strange sometimes, but 0.438. So I'm going to put my stop loss on that. and 0.438. I normally don't trade XLM, not a big deal. I'm just doing it because we saw some major price movement. A lot of positive things happening in the Trump administration approving crypto 401k and all that kind of stuff. Those things hadn't take effect yet, but the announcements sometimes causes pumps or dumps depending on what's said. And that could have been something that was positive. Let's go to Bitcoin. What's going on here? We did have a big bull flag. We broke to the upside. We created a really strange expanding, widening wedge here, which has continued, seemingly continued a little bit on the downside. Normally we don't go, normally a bull flag is not a bull flag anymore once it comes all the way down and retests the previous bull flag. So this is not a bull flag for sure. And it was widening at the top for a little while there before it just finally withered down. A couple ways you could look at this. You could look at it as a channel. Broke out a couple times, retesting, but as of right now, to me, I think we might have just slowly came down and retested this center line again. What is this line? Let me go look. Doesn't look like it's in the right spot. Might have accidentally got moved a couple times. And remember what I told you, that before a breakout of a major bull flag, we sometimes come and retest the center line first. And that could be what's finally happening here. We did come all the way up to the top. We hit it, and now we could be just coming back to retest the center line. And the only reason why I think this might be the time that we could be ready to break out is because we're doing this and doing this after doing this. And this had to happen first, which is coming all the way down from this overall bull flag and retesting the previous resistance as support, which was the 112. It actually wicked right through it to 111.7 and 111.8, and then it climbed back out. It climbed. Not only did it hit this green line, which was the 112, which let me just go up to a higher time frame and show you, which was the previous resistance. Not only did it hit that, which as you can see was the previous resistance and the previous all-time high right here after going through a big bull flag. But as you can see, this big bull flag, before we hit the top and went to the center line, before breaking out, we went through all of this to retest this, which was, again, the previous resistance area. And generally speaking, whenever there's major resistance and we break out, we generally come back and retest it before the next breakout. And generally, when there's a bull flag, we go up to the top, down to the bottom, up to the top, down to the bottom, up to the top, down to the bottom, up to the top. And generally, before we break out of the top, we come down halfway first. I can show you that many examples of that happening over and over again. And that's what I think we might be doing this time around as well. As you can see here, we did the same thing back here on this bull flag. But we always retest. We always come down and retest the previous resistance. This one, up, down, up, down, up, down, hit the top, hit the halfway mark before breaking out. This one, up, down, up, down, up, hit the halfway mark before breaking out. And that halfway mark was after retesting the previous resistance as support. This one, up, down, hit the previous resistance, up, coming down to the halfway point right now. So not only is it coming down to the halfway point, but it's also doing it right where the upward trending support is. And this white line, also everything converges right there. We have a support level, we have a downward trending center line, and we have this white line and this upward trend line all converging at the same point. That could be the place where we break out right here. That could be the final touch point. This white line is the overall upward top resistance line going all the way back to 2021. Right here, resistance, 2021. We come up and hit it again at 108, 109, fall, giant falling wedge, retest the 73K. Boom, bounce, climb out, make a new all-time high right here at 112, right on that line again. Fall again, retest, break out, break through the white line. First time since 2021, we got higher. And retesting as support on top. Right where that line meets the center line in a bull flag and where this upward trending support line also converges. Very interesting that they all converge right here. Also, if you take a line and draw it from the actual all-time high of 123 here, straight across, touch this upward trend line with that one, you will create another apex, which we are currently in. So what will happen? What will have to happen is we will break out of this bull flag. We will bounce on the center line, break out, possibly retest again on top, climb, and hit this resistance at the all-time high, probably retest again before breaking out again. So the first breakout of this bull flag, the TP will be set up here at the 123. You don't have to have a TP, but there's a good chance we're not just going to blow through that. Usually we hit it and then get through it. But there are some times here, like this one right here at 112, where when we hit it, we hit it. Okay, this is the daily time frame. So it took a whole day of resistance before the next one finally went through. Back here, if we go back to some other ones, you'll see this was the all-time high. Once we broke out, we retested and we hit it. And we had some big pullback first before finally breaking through. So that tends to happen. So what I'm expecting is probably some resistance there at the 123. But the real interesting part is that we've been in this upward trending support since 74K. Hit it a couple times, bounced and went higher, bounced, possibly go higher. We have not gone higher yet. There is always the possibility, not the probability, but always the possibility of not making a higher high, because higher highs don't always happen forever. This one right here, we hit an all-time high right here at 108. We come down and we come back up and double top at 109. Did not get higher. I mean, we went a little bit higher to 109, but we did not hold above the 108, and we immediately fell. And we fell for, from January 19th all the way to April 8th. 3 months going down before breaking out. And so sometimes, and then we come all the way up and we just get a little higher than the 109 to 112, and we did not hold higher than this. So if you keep drawing that line across on some of these, you will see that when we break a new high, like here, we broke above the 108, but we didn't hold above it. Here we broke above the 109, but we didn't hold above it. We kept going above it, but we kept coming back down. Here is when we broke above it and held. Finally held and then went higher. So when we come up here to 123, we're in this big bull flag. We break out here. We need to get above that 123 first for us to make any new highs. And there's always that possibility, like what happened here and like what happened all the way back here in 2021. Where we come up, hit 65K, we drop, and then we come back up and try it again, and we hit 66 and then 68, but we did not hold above the 65. That's considered a double top, and that was the beginning of a giant fall back down. So right here, we hit 108, we come down, we come back up, and we hit 109, but we did not hold above it, and that was a big giant fall back down. So there's always that possibility that we come up here and we hit 123, and then we have that big giant fall all the way back down. However, here we were kind of far away from the overall upward trend. I got this yellow line here showing you the upward trend from 73 that we're holding above. But see this red line here? Let me show you that. I'm going to make the color different so you can see it. This is blue. But that is an upward trending support line going all the way back to 15K, 20K right here. So this, we've gone up higher, we've come all the way over to it, breakout, go up higher, come all the way to it, breakout, come up higher, come up higher. So if we cannot get through 123 and we break below the upward trending support here on the local level, this one, and then we also break through the white line, which goes all the way back to 2021, then this could potentially consolidate and fall all the way back to this line, which is the overall upward trending line. And then we would have another run for it back here, possibly come back up and try again. What's the likelihood of that? You know, it's hard to say. I don't have a crystal ball, but the fact that we were above this white line right now is telling, because that has not happened every other attempt. Going back from 2021, we've hit it 5 times and then went through it and held a support on top. Never yet have we held above that. So it would have to be weak enough to not get us above 123 and also weak enough to not be able to hold above that line for us to fall back into this channel. And as you can see, it's happened several times where we've come all the way to that line. Jump up higher, come all the way back to that line. Jump up higher, we did not here. Here we went up even higher, and here we held here, and we could go up higher. But if we do fall through that line and this white line, we could come back to this line. Not expecting that really, but you know, like I say, I don't have a crystal ball. Anything can happen, and I am still long on my Bitcoin long, but a little bit. The one that I gave last night, yesterday. So let's go back over here and see. I think it was yesterday at 11 a.m. 8-6. Actually, it was 2 days ago. Still long. And we were quite positive. Not a lot, but we were in the green here for a minute. Let's go down and look on the local level and see what's going on here. Right here on this breakout, we did come back down and get below it. We popped up above it again here, the entry, this line right here. And now we're coming back down and retesting possibly the top of this. This could just be one of these situations right here. We have a flat, this could be a floor of support, and then the ceiling of this flag retesting right to there. Looks like a bounce to me on that level. So far, we shall see. We are going to the weekend. Sometimes weekends are weak. But also keep in mind, we did hit this top resistance line of the flag, and we are possibly coming down to the center line first. I thought we did retest it here, but we weren't at the top here before we did that. So this wasn't really a major retest. I mean, it is obvious that it did wick right down to it. That's very interesting. It wicked right down to it, but and then it made it to the top. But I think that normally it has to come down to the center line after hitting the top of the channel, which it did not do here yet. And so this could be, that's all this could be right now, guys. We could just be downward trending until we hit that. Lower highs, lower lows, boom, and then we're off to the races. Maybe even all the way to this yellow line again. I don't know. But so I would say the thing to look out for is breaking below this center line, breaking below this upward trending yellow line and this long running white line all the way from 2021. As you can see, they all kind of converge right here at the same point, right in this little area right here.
What exactly is that point, Nico, please?
This right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you just get on the call? Because I just explained all of it. So let me just go back real quick, guys. This white line.
No, I heard you explain it, Nico. I just meant exactly what level is that? What's the
Oh, what level? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I thought you asked me what that convergence point
No,
is.
no. Sorry.
So yeah, I'm sorry. It is right at the 115K. 115, I would say somewhere between 115 even, right on the nose, 115,000 and maybe 115,200. My apologies. I thought you didn't know what I meant by this little area right here. So yeah, I would say specifically 115,200. Now if we do break out of this flag, guys, I would say that the projection will be $128 to $130. Maybe even a little higher. Yeah. So we still would need to break out the 123, but this could be this all-time high notwithstanding, normally we would pump that high. But as you can see on some pumps, we do have some resistance before we continue. But yeah, I'm expecting the next level of all-time high to be at the 128 to 131, somewhere in that range up here. I have this line right at 129,950, or I would say it's basically 130 right on the nose. So you see this yellow line and this yellow line is coming into an apex, but I could take this and I could put that here. That was the apex before any of this existed. We were coming into an apex. We hit this top, which was this white line. We hit it at 112. We broke through here and we retested here and bounced on this upward trend line. We broke out of the apex here. Okay. Before that, this was the apex. Oops, let me get rid of that. Before that, if we go back far enough, the apexes are just upward trending. So that was before this yellow line. They're just continual. Here's with the apex before that. This blue line, upward trending, and this ceiling. We hit it, came back and retested, broke out. Came back down, retested, broke out. So the apex just keeps moving to different levels. Now we're in this upward trending. That's this one right now. That's the all-time high at 123. And we are inside of it, and we are in a corner, and it is imminent, because when you get this far into an apex, when you get this close to the tip where the floor meets the ceiling, right here in this corner, generally speaking, it doesn't get to the corner before it breaks out. Usually it breaks out somewhere after 70% of the way. So if we have this right here is the all-time high, then this is probably almost at 70% of the way to the apex, which is this corner. So somewhere after 70% of the way is usually when the breakout happens. 70% of the way, breakout. It doesn't have to be right on the line. It doesn't have to be right in the corner. This one broke out. Here's the corner right here. And this one broke out over here. So I would say it's imminent. I would say it's any time, but it also doesn't mean it's going to go break to the upside. So just keep that in mind. Apexes are apexes. And usually what that means is that it's just the ceiling and the floor converging. We either have a ceiling that's flat, horizontal, and an upward trending floor, or we have a flat floor and a downward trending ceiling. And it can either wind into it more and then break out, but can also break out through the floor. But it's got to do one or the other. It can only squeeze into this apex so much before breaking out. Have we ever seen it wind into the very tip? Yes, we've seen it wind into the very tip, but it can't just keep going like that, right? It has to break out. It never just goes like this and breaks out and goes sideways. It's going to either shoot up or shoot down, one or the other, once it gets to that tip. But very rarely does it go all the way to the tip before it does that. I'm long in anticipation of the bounce on the center line and hopefully a pump up to the 123 level. And then that's when I'll move my stop loss into profit. Before then, I'm probably not going to have a TP, even though I have a TP set. What did I put it? I put it at 120 for now, but that's just like right here. But I don't even have one on my chart. As you can see, I just put it in the signal channel. So I don't even have a TP. TP is not important. If it breaks to the upside and we're in profit, what's important is you move your stop loss to break even first. And then as it climbs, you move your stop loss into profit. As it gets up to 123, you move your stop loss to 120. And then if it starts to come back down, you can close the trade out anytime you want and take your profit. But if it breaks through and continues to climb, then you don't want to get out of it right now. There's no reason for it to close you out at a TP. You just want to move your stop loss up to right under 123, because then once it breaks the 123, chances are it's going to retest and continue up. You want to move your stop loss to here when that happens.
Did you get stopped out yesterday?
I did on one of them. I still have a coin margin trade open. I might have just re-entered that. I don't even know. I can't even keep track anymore because I was on the live webinar trading last night and giving people examples. But let me go back and look. Entry 114 on this one, yes. 114,276. You talking about for Bitcoin or XRP?
Yeah.
I think I did.
Yes, I got stopped out too yesterday.
Did you get stopped out in profit at least?
I did, just a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah, because there was definitely room to move this stop loss into profit. Because it went from my entry 114 up to 117 or so before it came back down. So I definitely moved stop loss. I had my stop loss at 112. So the entry was like right here at 114 on this breakout. It went all the way up to, oh no, I'm sorry, over here. It went, it was like 114 and then it went all the way up to 117.7. And I moved my stop loss way up too high in profit and it came down and it took me out. So this is the new entry. All I did was re-enter after we come down to retest this. You can see that wick right there. Didn't come down far enough though. It didn't come down far enough. So sometimes, guys, the difference is that on my re-entry, sometimes I'm too, it's not that I'm impatient to wait for the proper retest. It's that I'm anticipating that it's going to do it anyway, and I'm okay going a little negative, and I just wait. And sometimes I don't want to forget to enter a position because I got 10 other things going on, like a lot of you. So I just go ahead and enter the position and keep my stop loss out of the way because I think that the worst case scenario is that it's going to come down retest the 50%. And once it bounces here, if it bounces here, it is possible for it to fall back through. Then I would just close the trade out. But if it bounces here and starts to climb back up, I will enter more contracts at that point. Right now, it's low for me, so I will double down. Once it bounces here and starts to climb, I will look at that as the halfway point. Now, keep in mind, look, it did it here. We hit to the top, hit the halfway point here and bounced, and it didn't break out. And we even fell further. But the reason why I think this time it might be the time is because on this one, before this happened, we never retested the 112. This time we retested it, which was a major support level, major resistance level in the past. So we retested that. And then if we come down and hit the halfway mark after that, that's usually when there is a breakout. Going back throughout history, the breakout usually is after coming down to retest the halfway mark, but that usually happens after we already went down and hit the major support. So just like this one here, right? We came down halfway, bounced out, but before this, we came all the way down and touched the previous resistance level. Yes, today's call is always recorded and they're all live streamed into the private Facebook group. Is there an XLM signal issued on the call? I put XLM signal in the chat in the signal channel last night, right here. XLM long from live webinar entry TPSL. Let's go back. I'm still in it. Let's go back. Let's go look at XLM. See what's going on here. Right now, I mean, we are bouncing. I mean, we were up here. I mean, when I gave the signal, it was here, and we were in good profit last night. We were bouncing on this top. It did climb up above this resistance level, and it held for a little while, and then it fell back through. That's not necessarily a good sign that it fell back below that major resistance level, because if we go back and look what this is, this was major support and resistance, this line right here, going all the way back to the beginning of July. Someone asking me something? So that was major support back here. It became resistance here, and we did break through it here, but we did not hold above it. So a little concerned about that, but where it dropped to and bounced was here. So if we bring this over, that is also, that's this line right here. Let me just change it. Make it red. We got resistance, support, 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 resistance, 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 support, and resistance. This is the time it wicked up to that line. So really, it's just coming down to retest that. Hopefully that's the bounce that we need to get back up. I'm still long for now, and I am negative, but just very slightly, not very much, 20 bucks or so. If I was awake last night, maybe I would have. I mean, if I would have saw us breaking down below here, I might have just taken the profit, but I wasn't awake, and my stop loss is way down here. So I was hoping to wake up this morning and it was going to be way up here. Mute yourself out, guys, if you're not talking to me.
That was Donald. I'm not sure what's happening with his phone.
No problem.
Nico, I have a question.
Yep, go ahead.
So, do you feel that the XLM trade is still valid at its current point for a long?
I mean, I'm still in my long, and it just came back to where my entry was, basically. I mean, overnight it did all of this, and I was probably I was up pretty good up here, but I was sleeping, so I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
So, if you were paying attention after the entry and you were watching this and moved your stop loss up into profit and all that stuff, you'd have been good. But it fell through this line and came all the way back down to my entry and even a little bit lower, bouncing. It's banging its head on my entry right here, right now. So I would want to make sure that it holds on this red line right now. If I wasn't already in it, there's no reason for me to close it out right now. But if it falls below this, that's why I have my stop loss under there. If it falls below this, then I'm not going to be in it anymore. But I would have to go. I mean, there's a reason why it climbed so high over the last 24 hours from down here.
Yeah.
I don't know what the news was, but it does correlate with XRP. So let's look at XRP and see what's going on with XRP. Did the exact same thing. As you can see, we pumped up and it's coming back down.
Well, thanks. I appreciate the comment.
Yeah, I would just wait to see if it holds. I mean, we do have support here for now. You can see right here, it was resistance. We broke through it with support. We come up, we come back down, bounce, bounce, bounce. It needs to start climbing from here. This is XRP, by the way, but they correlate. XLM and XRP are pretty very similar. And so we do have there is something here. It's nothing major, but obviously we had a support level here on the way up. We had support and resistance down here. Resistance, 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 support, 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 breakthrough. Resistance, support. You can see the red line right there. Bam, before climbing up. And it's just coming back down to this level right now. And it's holding. I mean, we had support, 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 support. It's trying, but we don't have a higher high yet. So I would need to see this start to climb. We are going into the weekend. Not necessarily a great thing. Not always bad. Sometimes there are big pumps on weekends, but for the most part, generally speaking, the market slows down, comes to a little bit of a snail pace on the weekend. Sometimes there's not as much happening unless there's some kind of fundamental news or announcements. But overall, the market is still very bullish. We are testing highs. I mean, Bitcoin, we're at like in the 117 to 123 range, which is all-time high at 123. It's trying to push through. Bitcoin is the tide that rises all boats for the most part. If you want to see what's not correlated with Bitcoin, go over here and click on this button and scroll. Okay, so we got BTC in the red right now. Everything's a little bit green except for Bitcoin right now at the moment. Scroll down, look for something that's really got a high double digit number in green against Bitcoin. Look at this one. Pendle, 21%. BBU, 23%. What's going on there? Let's go look at it. So I don't know what BBU is, but it looks like it's forming a nice big bull flag right now. We got this could be a good trade setup right here. Let's just zoom out and see if there's anything longer term here. I mean, that's a serious bull flag forming right now. Okay, now we come over here and we see what is holding this up right here. Interesting, guys. I mean, this is technical analysis 101. Top of this bull flag, what did we hit? Why did it stop here? Boom, hit that and creates this big flag, right? But if we zoom out and take that line and just bring it over to the left, we can see. Let me just make that a little thicker. So we got support, 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 breakthrough, and now it's coming up to resistance. If we take that over even further, all the way, we had several times that this has happened before. Whoops. Look at this. Coming down from its high, we had major support, bounce, support, 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 breakthrough, resistance. Resistance, 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 broke through support, but did not make a higher high, couldn't hold, fell back through. Came back up here, got above it, support, 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 breaks through, resistance, can't get back through. And here we are now coming back up again to that level, creating a big bull flag right at the resistance level. Now, here's the problem with bull flags. Normally, I would say that's a nice looking bull flag, probably going to break to the upside. But when they're up against major resistance, that's the 30% of the time that bull flags don't break to the upside sometimes. They can still, but generally speaking, if a bull flag breaks to the upside 70% of the time, that means 30% of the time it doesn't. And usually when it doesn't, it's because it's up against major resistance. If it was just a bull flag here, probably more likely to break out to the upside. But because it's up against that major resistance level, it's a possibility it doesn't. But look at where this has come from. This thing was way up here. 58 cents at one point. I don't know if that's an all-time high. Let me go to the daily. All right, so what I would say looking at this is the only reason we're looking at it is because it's not correlating with Bitcoin. It's got its own little world going on here. So if we do break through this support and resistance level right here, I would say that this would be the next major resistance level at 24 cents. We have an all-time high here at 87 cents. But we're down in the depths down here, stuck in this very low level channel. And it needs to break through this one first to get to the upside. But there was a big pump, 23% over the last 24 hours. Let's see what else is moving. Pendle, 22%, very similar. Big pump right here. Why? I don't know. We got upward trending support. Possible just broke out of an apex. I would say right here, we got support, resistance, support, support, resistance, support, 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 resistance, breakout. But we also have downward trending, resistance, resistance, lower highs, lower highs. This one got even with this one, but it didn't hold above it, came right back below, hit resistance. And this is the next one down. So a lot of people might get excited about this and go long, but this might just be hitting the top right now. Like it did here, 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 and here. So could just wind into an apex here, and it's either going to break to the upside or to the downside. Well, let's just look at all the other times. Here's the last time it happened. Winding into the apex. Broke to the downside, retested, and dropped. We got support, 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 support. Broke below a little bit, but came back up. Interesting patterns on these right here, but as you can see, we have lower highs and the lows are pretty much nice and flat. So this could be the overall long. This could just go like this. And we could be in just an overall downward trending apex all the way to here, for all we know, on that one. And this just could have been the most recent pump from the bottom. A2Z. I don't know what the hell it's doing over here. Big pump to the upside and a big drop. I mean, this was just in the last 24 hours. %, almost 93% pump to the upside. 10x leverage, that would have been a 1,000% gain right there. If anybody was paying attention to it. I wasn't. It's just too many, guys. I can't keep track of them all. But as you can see, that was the resistance. Resistance. Oh, it's coming up to resistance. What do we do here? We wait for the breakout. So once you understand what to look for, you can go and look at all of these and try to find these patterns and just wait. Wait for the breakout. We have an upward, look at this, upward trending floor, ceiling, coming into an apex. Happens over and over and over again. Right? Gonna break out eventually. That one didn't even go all the way to the corner, just broke out right here. But whenever you're seeing something like this, let's just say it was right here at the moment and it didn't do all this yet. Then you want to watch it because we see that there's resistance here at this level. Boom, 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 boom. And now it's coming up again. So what we want to see is it going to break out? If we get above this level and we hold above it, how do you know it's holding? Well, this is the hour time frame. This time it went above it, fell right back. This time it went above it, fell right back. Went above it, fell right back. Hit it, went above it, and didn't fall right back. The next candle opens and it's going up higher. You enter. Even if you don't enter there, you wait for the next candle. This candle opens and comes all the way down to here, comes all the way back up to here. The next candle opens green, which means this candle, even though it was red, it was coming down. It did not. I mean, so now you have 1, 2 candles that held above this line. You enter. If you would have entered here, that would have been 64% gain to the upside at 10x leverage, 640%. 20x leverage, 1,200%, so on and so forth. Of course, you don't know that it's going to do this. It's easy for me to say that in hindsight, all that stuff, right? But this is how you catch these breakouts. You wouldn't know here that it's going to go all the way up to here, but if you got in down here somewhere after this breakout, you could have wrote it. I mean, that's an obvious breakdown. We don't know. I don't know anything about this token. So obviously hasn't been on Femex for long. Let's go look at some more. There's all kinds of stuff that's got its own little thing going on, its own little ecosystem, its own little pumps, independent of Bitcoin. They're not correlating with Bitcoin. Arrow, look at Arrow. Look at this one. Meme down 20%. That's a huge dump. But look at the pump before the dump.
I caught part of that.
Did
I
you?
can't believe them. Yeah, I couldn't believe the move.
Holy cow. I mean, look at this, guys.
The trick is, I've been trying to figure out for years, is how to get them early.
Yeah.
How to know that that's about to happen, because not all of them are pump and dumps. Sometimes there's just been so many buys and then there's no more sellers and then boom.
Yeah. So you see a curve happening. This is kind of like a giant cup and handle, but you see a curve. But you see this down here is kind of curving upward, but over what time frame? I mean, months.
Months.
3 months at least, all of this, because I'm on the 1 hour time frame. So at least 3 months. And then it pumps and it comes right up equal. Like if you see this pump happening and you want to know where it's going, just go to the left, draw a line straight across. I mean, that sharp drop right here is just almost equal to this line going back up.
And that's a huge imbalance that it filled. That's something to look for. That huge God candle that never got filled.
Yeah, crazy.
And then it went right back through it, like Nico said.
Yeah. So you can't predict this is going to happen, but if you go and look at enough of these guys, and then what you could do is you could open up the charts, you can screen share them, you can have them on a separate page or somewhere where you remind yourself to go back and look. Like this one, it's starting to come back up. Right here, it's coming up. You may not have seen all this yet, but you see this happening? Look at this. Look at this pump right here. Boom. Okay, that obviously is very different than all of this. I mean, look what it was doing for months. So just this little pump right here, if you saw that, like if you happen to notice it when that happened before all this, then you simply just look at this and go, wait, what's going on here? Why is it doing this? Draw a line to the left. And look, isn't that something? That was where it stopped its descent. Boom. And retested. Look at that. Boom. That is
And that 1 hour candle's ugly. Just a
holy,
straight drop.
I mean, that is crazy, right? Look at that. That's a rug pull something. And look at this.
Yeah.
You were really paying attention before that happened, guys. You were in an upward trending apex. And it wasn't making it to the top. Remember, I told you it could break to the upside. This is a long right here, breaks to the upside, holds a support, you go long. But it can just as easily break to the downside. This one didn't even retest. It just dropped like a brick through a wet paper bag. Holy cow. But on the way up, when you see this over here, when you see it pump up and stop like that, and you look to the left and you see, oh, that's something. And then it's starting to work its way back up. Boom. Hitting resistance again. It's about to break out. That's when you get ready to enter. Obviously, that is kind of crazy. And yeah, that was a big move. It's hard to catch these in advance, but you got to go through. You got to just do what I'm doing right now. Go through these different charts. Look at that, 151% to the upside just from this. Not even from down here, but from here. And if you think 150% is good, it normally is. But if you add leverage to that, guys, 20x leverage, that's a two. This is why you see this. Let me go into the signal channel. I mean the winds wall. This is why you see these 2,000% gains. 963%. Why you see these giant 1,241%. It's why you see these giant percentage gains is because of things like that, catching these moves.
You can only go short and long in margin, correct? Not in perpetual.
No. What do you mean?
Like, can you only run a long and a short in margin?
In coin margin, yes, you can only run one direction in coin M.
Oh,
in
yeah.
US dollar tether or US dollar coin, you can go both ways at the same time.
Okay, I didn't mean like necessarily at the same time, but are you allowed to run a long in perpetual is what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like a long and a short? Okay, but without leverage.
Well, you can lower, yeah, you can do spot. You can do spot account trade with no leverage, or you can use futures contracts account.
Okay, okay,
with,
okay.
with
Thanks.
leverage. Yes. And you can even lower your leverage down to like 1x if you want on futures. Doesn't have to be 10x or 20x. But look at this. This is Zach. I think this is Zach. He made 11,322 XRP on this one trade. Do the math at $3.30. This isn't 11,000% or $11,000. It's 11,000 XRP because he was on XRP margin. Good job, Zach. Are you on, Zach? Killer.
Yeah, I'm here.
Good job, man. Awesome.
Thanks, bud.
I know it feels good. I've had several of those in my lifetime. Some big winners. And yeah, man. I mean, next time, oh, you did it. I mean, it shows it doesn't show you, it shows the amount of coin that you made there, but there's another little toggle here when you do this. Right here, when you click this button and you take this screenshot, there's a toggle here. It says switch P&L, and you can switch it to the amount of coin you made, or you can switch it to also your percentage gain. So take both screenshots. You might have already done that, but do that too. So you can switch.
Yeah,
it.
I'm up 1,000% on XRP, but I've added contracts. So like it shows that I got in at like 236. I really got in at 196 and just been adding.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So you moved your open price up a little bit because you kept adding contracts.
Same with my Ethereum. I got in at 1560 on Ethereum, but now it's showing my entries 2600.
Badass. Good job, man. Good job. I mean, guys, that's life-changing money right there in one trade. And depending on what your goal is, like if your goal is to make the money and take the cash out, okay, you can buy a new boat, or you can pay off your mortgage, you can buy a new car, you can take your family on vacation. That's one thing. But if your goal is to accumulate the crypto, adding 11,000 XRP to your stockpile is huge, especially if you don't need the money right now, because this $3.30 at the current value is going to go to $7.50 or $10 or maybe even 20 or 50 or $100 in the near future. This 11,000 XRP right now might only be worth 33 grand, but it could be worth 300 grand in a year or two. Man, it's killer trades going on the last this last week. Ryan's always killing it with multiple triple digit gains simultaneously.
Yeah, Ryan's good. I asked him to join me in an interview, and he's just not ready. He says to teach it, but he's killing it. He's killing it.
John, always killing it. Always at high leverage. Look at this 100x leverage.
We got 3 more videos with John, building channels, Bollinger Bands, and he did the live on Litecoin. He's reviewing the videos now. I probably have them updated on the Facebook page today.
Nice. Good job, John. Joshua, another killer in here. Josh, 1,206% on a short with 20x leverage. If you want to understand, just all you do, guys, is take the 1,206%, 1,206, divide it by the X leverage, divided by 20. And that is the move. It's a 60% move in the market, 1,200% gain. You're making 1,200% on 60% move. Big move in the market, but still huge return. Good job, Joshua. Steve, nice and consistent. I got, man, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trades at the same time. Coins, guys, I don't even play with. It doesn't matter. I'm teaching you how to do things on Bitcoin, but once you understand it, you can go and do this on anything. Look at Skate. I don't trade Skate. Never heard of Skate. I may have heard of it, but because I see it in here. But there's so many coins moving. It doesn't matter. This is why people are like, well, I only trade Apple stock and Coca-Cola and Home Depot. I only play with the big boys. I only play the blue chip stocks. Why? Those things don't move at all. There's no volatility on those. They're already, yeah, they're great. Yeah, they're risk-free at this point because they're hardly moving. But I don't care if it's fart coin. If you can make $10,000 in 5 minutes, why does it matter what the asset class, what the index or the indice is? I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. So if you just understand how to get in at the right time and get out at the right time, if it's on this exchange, it's tradable. You know, there's people in Vegas, for those of you who are not Vegas goers or understand betting and things like that, there's people in Vegas, you can go and bet on anything, like literally anything. You can bet what color ties Trump's going to wear tomorrow on his news briefing and make hundreds of thousands. People are making ridiculous money on crazy things that you would never even think of. And so when you get to that, when you realize that, listen, it's just a game, guys, and it's just money is a tool. You can use any one of these, but the way to find these big moves is to do like what I was just showing you. This is actually looking. Normally, I wouldn't have get in and meme, but Memify looks like it might be bouncing here and getting ready for another pump. I don't know. We'll see. It has to get, to me, it has to get higher than probably this high right here. It has to break this little level, because right here was resistance and support. So it hit support, popped up, came back below it, hit resistance, came back to support. And so it needs to come back above that for me to think that it's going to make another run for it. But yeah, I mean, you just come up here and you scroll through these, and you don't have to look for any big gains or anything. You can just go on anything. In fact, some of these little lower ones. But why is this one red and everything's green? So let's go look. Well, this looks like, you know, when there's some obvious upward trending support, you just draw your line. Look at this. See that resistance right here? See that resistance right there? Boom. And then support, just draw that. And then bring it forward. We got upward trending support. Pretty obvious, right? And then we have possibly, well, I would say that it looks like almost like a flag or an apex, but it's more like a ceiling right here. We got resistance, resistance, resistance. Bring it forward. This is just basic stuff here, guys. This is not anything real scientific here, but for those of you who are just getting your feet wet, you want to go draw lines, you want to figure things out. I mean, it doesn't take much to look at this and see what I just drew. You see it. You can see through the matrix. You can see there's something going on here. Just draw those lines, and then you wait. What are we waiting for? We're waiting for a breakout. But generally, what has it done every time it hit this line? Bounced, 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 bounced. It's hitting it again now. So the trend is your friend until the end. Probably going to bounce here and come up to the top. And if it doesn't get through that, it's going to bounce there and come to the bottom. If it doesn't get through that, it's going to bounce there. But it's either going to get through this and you're going to go long, or it's going to break through the bottom and go down. But so far, upward trending, support, ceiling, resistance. Even here, when it went through a couple times, it did not hold above this line. It went through it, came back below, went through it, came back below, hit resistance, fell. Went through it, came back below, came back up and retested as resistance. So you don't count these unless they bounced and went up higher. But they didn't. So it doesn't matter that it went through here. It came right back below. So we could have another pump like that. But right now, this is the resistance, because that's where all of the resistance is. And every time it did go through, it never held above that line. So get a couple of these, take a screenshot. So if this is one you're looking at, take a screenshot of it. Move that screenshot to your other screen or save it down here in your saved folder, and then go back and remind yourself, which ones did I just look at? Oh, CFX. Okay, let me go look at it and see what it's doing. Is it ready to break out yet? If so, possibly get in. You can catch these guys. There is a little work involved on your part. Go find these. I'm not going to find them for you because there's just hundreds and I mean, if I scroll like this, guys, I can do this for like a whole minute straight. That's how many coins there are. I can't possibly go and know everything that's about to move. My job here is to teach you how to enter and exit so that you can go and do that. But that's what happens. That's why you see all these gains in the wins walls of all these crazy coins. Once people know what to look for and know how to enter and exit, they just go find them. And it doesn't even have to be in crypto. It doesn't even have to be on Femex. Once you understand this basic charting, support, resistance, and technical analysis and how to determine which direction something's about to go and whether it's going to break out or not, or whether it's going into an apex or it's a trade setup or not, you can go do that on the stock market. You can go do it on Forex. It doesn't matter. It's the same. It's all the same. Mark says they're betting on objects being thrown onto the court for WNBA games. I know, it's crazy what they bet on. Sean King, Nico, ETH has had some big gains this week as well. Let's go look at ETH. Yes. And so the ones I've been showing you are just no name coins that I've never heard of, but let's go to the majors here. Ethereum, obviously, definitely breaking a major resistance level here, breaking out of its resistance and holding at support and making a higher high. That's all positive. Right now, it looks like it's getting ready to climb to even a higher high. We have upward trending support. We already broke the resistance. Let's just go back a little higher and see what's going on. Okay, so we broke above this line where we had resistance. And if we go back far enough, it was resistance back here, and we did not hold above it. Let's get rid of this. We went above it, went below it, went above it, went below it. Is that going to happen again right now? Possible. Let's go back a little further. Hit it, couldn't get above it. Hit it, couldn't get above it. Fell back below resistance. Here, hit it, went above it, held a support for a minute, and then fell back below. So we got a major resistance wall ceiling here. So, and now if we come to the current situation, we are above it, but is it going to continue? This was back in 2024 in December. This was back in March of 2024. If I go back even further, I don't know how far. ETH doesn't go back that far on. It goes back to 2022 on Femex. Got a
I think the all-time high was 4,800 and change.
Yeah. So we do got a huge widening channel here that we finally are. We could be breaking out of the top, but let's do it this way. Let's take a line from the actual top of all of these peaks right here. Boom. Boom, boom. We hit it here. We hit it there. And we have not hit it yet over here. So I would say that that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting to see if we break through that. So would I be going long right now? No, it's too close. Too close. Now, don't get me wrong. That is a nice little pump, even to that line. And it probably is going there. That's obvious, right? That's the next resistance level up here. And it's in that shit. Let me just do this instead. Let me do a parallel channel. It's in this zone right now. It's in the parallel channel right now, possibly coming up to the top. If it breaks above that, then yeah, we got new all-time highs coming, or at least going to go up to previous all-time high. But this is all positive. We came up and we hit resistance and we held support and climbed up and broke this level. So that's definitely positive, but we didn't break the top of it, which is this wick right here and this wick right here. So yeah, I mean, bouncing on the 4K. I mean, we did hit 4K yesterday, 4,010, which was this little spike right there. We're right at it right now. Look at this, 39.89. I mean, where was Ethereum? Just yesterday, right here, 33.57. Not yesterday, but this week. So if you're a scalper and you know how to scalp, this could be a long position on the way up. If you're already in it from the breakout, good, that's fine. But just make sure you move your stop loss into profit and be wary up here, because we could just hit that and bounce at 4,100 and come back down. 4,100 is the line. But if we break through that, then I'll be probably giving signals to go long after that. I would rather wait for that to happen first. We're close. Otherwise, you generally don't go long at the top, because what has it done every time it's got into this zone? It hit it, came all the way down. Hit it, came all the way down. Hit it, came all the way down. And every time it comes down, it's lower lows. Climb all the way back up and hit it. If it comes all the way down again, guys, how much lower could we go? Is that possible? Back down to $600, $700? Anybody think that's possible?
Not with institutional adoption.
Yep. Well, this is certainly possible right here. Resistance, support. Even though we have downward trending, we have major support in this yellow line. Support, resistance. We did fall lower here, but we came back up and then held it as support again. This line is 2160. Possible. Maybe not probable. I'm hoping we break out here, and this is the bull run. This is the final, next few months going into really new all-time highs. Doug M, what are we referring to? Is this evidence of manipulation? I'm sorry, I'm just reading your message now, and I'm not sure what I was talking about when you asked the question. Oh, what time frame do you prefer to scalp on? 10 minute. 10 minute.
The previous question was that chart that was really high dropped and stayed on the bottom for a long time, and then went straight up.
Yeah. What was it? Meme, I think we were looking at.
I think so.
Meme fi.
Manipulation, I'm not sure, but man, look at that wick. Holy cow.
It looks like a pump and dump.
Yeah. Well, it definitely was when it first launched. And then months later, it finally climbs and gets some energy back, and it's pumped up again. It pumped way up here and pulled all the way back. This candle right here, anybody know what that's called? This red one, where you have a really long wick to the upside and a very short one to the downside. This one also, this green candle right here, we have a huge long wick to the downside and it pulled right back up. This is bullish, but this is very bearish.
Falling nine.
Yeah, basically it's a death doge or falling star, falling knife. There's all kinds of names for these. But if you go into the Discord and you go into the members area or the help desk, I believe it is, right? And then we go to
you'll find it now. Yep.
Chart patterns, right here, chart pattern cheat sheet. Come down to the candlesticks. This is a shooting star candlestick pattern, hanging man. So the shooting star candlestick is a single candlestick pattern, has a small body, and the upper wick size is at least twice the size of the body. That's very bearish. Usually means a big dump to the downside.
Is that on a daily chart, Nico?
Right here. This is what we're looking at here. Um, oops, hold on. That is the daily, yeah. And the higher the time frame, the more accurate that chart, that candle becomes. Doji, neutral, bearish. When the wick is really high to the upside, then it comes down, it's usually dropping from there. Same with the bottom. We have a long, but so we have both, and that's the interesting part on that one. If you look, we have a huge wick to the upside drop. Normally that's bearish. Normally that means this pump is over and we're going to drop back down. But here, then the next candle, we have an opposite effect. This candle's bearish, this candle's bullish. Very strange. Very strange on this. But then again, this whole chart is strange. You don't see this very often, this whole setup right here. Not with one candle on each side.
Yeah, it looks like they trapped them on both sides.
Yeah.
There's trapped shorts and trapped longs.
Yeah. So to answer your question, yes, probably manipulation of some sort.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Just looking at some of the questions in here. Nico, are you seeing a head and shoulders on the 1 hour BTC? Let's look. Maybe. Yeah. If that is, let me get rid of that. This would be the floor right here. And that could bring us back down to retest that line, or depending, right, where this whole thing is happening here. Could be. That's where I think it was going anyway, but I really didn't notice the head and shoulders there. But yeah, if it is one, I mean it is one, yes. And well, look at this wick right here, never made it as high as the head. So we got left shoulder, right shoulder, head on the 1 hour. And we are bouncing on this support, the bottom of the shoulders here. And so could be a break to the downside in the short term, but I am anticipating that it's probably to retest this halfway line right here. Possibly where the upward trending support and the overall resistance white line here converge. In fact, I think that line, this line should be touching that and the top of these wicks right here. Where is the end of this? It's always too far. Wick down to it here. Support, resistance, 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 support. That's where they really all converge right there. We have this upward trending support, this overall white line, which is the overall resistance going all the way back to 2021, and this middle line right here that we would need to come down from the top and retest, bounce on first before breaking out. Let's just get rid of this. We don't really need, I mean, this is a middle, this is a support level as well, going all the way back to here. You can see it right there. Here, here. I would say that right here is the major. That's right at the 115.2 that we talked about earlier. Man, I mean, there's too many coincidences, too many things lining up there for me to not think that that's where we're heading. So just keep an eye on this circle, draw your lines. Everything's coming to a point right there. I mean, not only this upward trending support, not only this overall resistance white line going all the way back to 2021, which we broke above and retested, and then broke below, came down to retest the 112 and then hit it again as resistance and then broke above it. But we're also in a downward, we're also in this giant flag. We already hit the top right before hitting that 112. We're coming up again to it. And generally speaking, before we break out, we usually come back down to the center line. Here's the center line. And it's converging right where this upward trending resistance, support rather, and this overall line and the center line all converge. And then if you add one more line to it, which is this yellow line from this, and then follow this downward trend right here on the overall head and shoulders, it just all comes right to that point. It's kind of crazy how that works. I will change this to keep that there for now. We'll see if we hit it or not. Wouldn't be surprised. Things are moving kind of slow right now, as you can see. I mean, this big pump and all these other coins that we were looking at. Mark says possibly drop to 114.6. Yes, but 115.2 is where these lines all converge. But yes, it could wick down to 114.6, which is, you see this dotted line right here. That's the real center line of my flag. But I have this red line right here, or I manually drew it in right at these wicks. But you see the dotted line is right a little bit below that. So yeah, could wick just like these wicked, these all wicked through a little bit. I'll expand that just to this, anywhere in this region. Nothing has to be exact. I mean, not perfect. Like nothing ever really stop. I mean, sometimes they do. Sometimes they stop exactly on the line. Boom. 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 Right. But wick down, boom. So, but I would say I'm going to tighten this up because I think it's going to be in that area. And there's too many lines converging there. Pat, Nico, do you have an opinion on where this bull market drop may take us? I'd like to bulk buy a few BTC for hodling. Bull market drop. You mean the bear market or this drop right here that we're talking about? You got to be more specific, I think. Pat, if you want to come off mute, you can ask.
Yeah. I mean the bear market. That was my mistake.
Okay. So you want to bulk buy for the next bull market?
Yeah, I know it could be a little bit of a crystal ball, but would we potentially go down to 74? I'd like to, if I'm getting 2 or 3 of these things, it would be good to get at that level, or 90, or
Yeah, I mean, it's a crystal ball question. I can't give you an exact answer, but we can zoom out and we can look and say, Well, look at the last time we hit 68K in the bull market and we dropped all the way to 15.5. So if we double 68K in this bull market from 68K and we go up 100%, that brings us to $139, right? 168, 139. And if we double the bear market bottom from 15.5 on the last bull market. Now, does this mean this is going to happen? No, but just give you an example. Double the 15.5 in the next bear market bottom. Actually, it would have to be 15.5. This would have to be up here a little bit. And so that would bring us to 31,000. Is that possible? 68 went down to 15.5. 138 coming down to 30, 31. Everything doubles. We double where the high is and we double where the low was. So I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I know that some people have been in this group long enough to remember me say that 30K is still on the table. I know no one's going to believe that right now. If Chad was on this call right now hearing me say that, he'd be mad at me. But I've lived long enough to see the opposite of what everybody thinks happening is going to happen way more often than not. Mark says he thinks that 31K not happening with institutional adoption. Certainly, I concur. I believe that that's not going to happen either. But can it? Yes. Could we have a stock market collapse, crash? Could we have an economic meltdown? Could we have a recession, depression, job loss, tariff, World War III? Could all of this shit happen still? Yep. It could. Will it? No, not necessarily. No. We don't even know what's going to happen when the whole currency thing changes over from the dollar to the digital dollar and all this stuff that we're talking about. It could be a positive thing. It could all just go seamlessly. But Ed said, I would have also said that we would have never self-quarantined. Exactly. There's a lot of things. But also, guys, when we were at 68, did anybody think we were going back to 15.5? When we were at 20,000 here, did anybody think we were going back to 3,000?
I was hoping.
All right. In this group. But here's one thing that's interesting about the 30K that I just mentioned is that we never retested. Let's just show you where 30K is. Here's 30K right here. Resistance, support. Went up to 65K, came back down and bounced on it, bounced on it, bounced on it. Climbed all the way up to 68K, came back down, bounced on it. Went through, retested, dropped to 15.5. In the next bull market, this is the one we're in right now, we came up to it, resistance, hit it, resistance, took a while to get through it, finally got through it here and never, ever retested. That's very unusual. I show you all the times that we have resistance and we come back and retest before breaking out. All-time high, resistance, come back down and retest before breaking out. All-time high, this was the resistance, come back down and retest before breaking out. We never retested 30K, ever. So, probable, no. Possible, yes. But it would take a lot. It would take a lot for that to happen. So, so on the low end, Pat, to answer your question, Yeah, I mean, if I told you 80, 75K, 70, 74 or 68K, let's just say that that's probably more logical right here. Previous all-time high, somewhere in this range. Between 68 and 70. So let's just put it to a nice even 70K. Boom, right there. That would make a lot of sense to me if that happened. And if we continue with this upward trending support into the future, the one that goes all the way back from the bear market bottom here from 20K, and we do make it up to 140K or even 170K, let's just say that happens. And then we do fall into a major bear market, and we just hit this right here. It could just be the 108, which was this high right here, and that could be the bear market bottom after coming up this high, staying in line with, or maybe even retesting this previous resistance as support again. Maybe it'll be over here somewhere where that hits this. That would be at 134K, but that depends on how high we get. If we don't ever break past this level right here and we start to come down, it's hard to tell. It could also be a situation where this time is different and the winter is over. Bitcoin winter is over, meaning there are no more bear markets, and it just continues to go up from here with the adoption and everything that we're all talking about, the institutions, and the overall governmental adoption and banking system regulations all coming into play, and Trump's new announcements. And Trump just announced Bitcoin 401ks and all kinds of shit, right? So there's all kinds of stuff that's happening that could make this time different, that we keep talking about. Generally speaking, every time, every bull market, people think this time is different, but it usually never is. There's usually something that makes it so it's not different. And then we have bull market and bear market cycles over and over and over. We have 4 of them now since 2009, but everybody thinks this time will be different. It is possible, and we hope it is. It could be, but.
Nico, can't you draw one more blue upward trending line from the bottom? So if you go to the left, like at the bottom from there, touching so from the very bottom, yeah, exactly. Draw that all the way up. So if we break the blue line, there's a good chance we'll probably touch that line.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's possible. And it's nice and symmetrical with the overall channel. If I made it like.
As far as like the bear market,
Yeah, this whole channel going up. If I go to, let me go over to Trading View and show you what it really looks like on the grand scheme of things here. Let's go to the monthly. Because I can go back a lot further on this one. There is a major, let me get rid of all these here. There is a major support and resistance line that goes all the way back to 2011 right here. Let me just get rid of all this stuff here first. I guess I'll just get rid of everything. So we have major resistance 2011, support, 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 support. Support, resistance. think we're above it right now. I don't think we can. I don't think we can go back this far here. It does look like an upward trending channel here. But we also have a major curve happening. Still one thing.
Hey, Nico, quick question.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have any data on what Bitcoin would do in a recession, though, do we? Because like the last major recession was '08 before Bitcoin really was established, correct?
Correct.
So
we've had bull and bear market cycles. We've had a couple stock market. We did have a stock market crash.
But nothing close to like what '08 ended up being as far as a financial situation. Like, and I know Bitcoin has performed better than the stocks through like the crash and everything before, but we don't like have any data to say one thing or another, which would, I mean, it's possibility that we could still hit a pretty big recession and we would actually have data then to go by.
Yeah.
And which would kind of make, if it would, 30,000 would make kind of sense for that to kind of happen.
If that happened, yeah. And I know a lot of people don't think that these things can happen, but they do happen. We just don't remember them. And we don't, like the housing crisis, for instance, when we had in 2007, 2008, when the real estate market crashed, a lot of people were like, oh, well, real estate never drops, more than 20%. But now, since then, it's up, 5 times higher than it was when it crashed back then, but no one was prepared for that. No one was expecting that bubble to, well, I shouldn't say no one. There were some people saying it was going to happen and no one believed them. There was movies made about it since then. But yeah, so we don't really know. But we do know that when the stock market crashes, and right now this is the line I was telling you about, the white line that we are above right now, or we hit these right here. It's very hard to see, but this is as far back as I went. I do the line to 2021, and we're hit it, and we went above it, and now we're above it. But if I go all the way back and put that to the top here, then we're not even close to the top. Just depends on where you're starting from, guys. But we do have this arch here, and why that's important is because if we go back and look at the overall arch of Bitcoin going all the way back to 2012, right down here, we have diminishing returns. We have lower highs. So each bull market cycle, by the way, this is the halving. In between these lines is the halving. 2 years, 3 years up, 1 year down. Halving. 2 years up, 1 year down. Halving. 2 years up. This is 2021 bull market here. 1 year down. We go through the halving. So as you notice, this high right here is lower. It's higher than this high, but the gain from the low, from the bottom to the top, for instance, back here was 1,000x. Here it was 100x. Here it was 10x. Here it's 7x. Is it going to continue to get lower and lower and lower? The highs are going to get higher. The price is going to get higher, but the ROI, or the multiplier from the bottom of the bear market to the top is getting lower each bull market cycle. All right, so that's why we have this curve. It's a rainbow curve. This is called the rainbow chart, but it's curving. And as you can see, we went above the red zone back here. We went to the red zone here. We didn't make it to the red zone here. And right now, we're at an all-time high, and we still aren't even in the yellow zone. Even if we pump up to 170, 180, we might not even get to the yellow zone, let alone the orange and the red. So this curve could be what I'm showing you right now on that other chart, is that this curve right here is getting sharper. Now, is it going to come back down? No, it's probably just going to level off. One Bitcoin gets stable, and it's going to have less giant pumps to the upside, but it could also, but how do you justify the price? Well, the price, I don't know why this is doing this to me. Hold on one second. The price could still get way up here into the, millions zone, but the arch is just going to keep going slowly the other way. It's not going to be, hold on a second. Let me just find what I'm looking for here. It's just going to slowly curve over, but it's going to stable off. It's not going to have these huge pumps and giant dumps and huge pumps and giant dumps like it did on the way up back here when we shoot up, 1000x from less than a penny to 10 cents, and then all the way back down to 1 cent, and then all the way up to $32, and then all the way down to $1.80, all the way up to $1,200, and then all the way back down to $166. So that will slow down. It'll get tighter and tighter and tighter, and we'll have lower highs. I mean, higher highs, but higher lows as well. So it's not going to be like these giant, huge swings. Eventually, there comes a time when things do stable off, and it's not going to be the huge, people who are already in it now, you guys who are able to buy when it's down low like this. Still, a lot of people think, oh, well, it's too late because it's over 100 grand. No, Bitcoin can get to 1.8, 2.5, $7.5 million per Bitcoin, and you're going to wish you bought more of it or accumulated more of it when it was in the 100,000 range. Just like everybody wishes when Bitcoin was $1,000, $1,200, I was telling my friends to buy it, and they didn't, some of them. And then when it got to 5,000, they were like, oh, it's definitely too late now. I should have bought it when you told me it was 1,200. And so they didn't buy it at 5,000 either. And then when it got to 10,000, like, damn, it's definitely too late now. I should have bought it at 5,000. Obviously, that keeps happening. 20,000, oh, I should have bought it at 10. 50,000, I should have bought it at 20. 100,000, I should have bought it at 50. 500,000, I should have bought it at 100. That's what's going to keep happening over and over and over again. So stop waiting, stop sitting on the sidelines, start accumulating, start trading, start understanding, because there will come a time when Bitcoin could be $13 million for one Bitcoin. And the only people, and the people who have some of it, one Bitcoin will be multi-millionaires, and your one Bitcoin will be in huge demand by all the other institutions who are using it as a store of wealth against their stock portfolios and these giant hedge funds and ETFs and all these things. And it will be that store of wealth. If the government, if Donald Trump does what he says he's going to do, which is to buy 1 million Bitcoins over the next 5 years, that is $100 billion worth of Bitcoin at 100,000. But as the price continues to go up, it's not going to be a million I mean, a million Bitcoins is a million Bitcoins. The price value is going to change over time. If you bought a million Bitcoins right now, it would be $100 billion. But if he's buying it over the next 5 years, the first 100,000 Bitcoins might be at $100,000 each. The second 100,000 Bitcoins might be at $150,000 each. The third $100,000 Bitcoins might be at $200,000 each, and so on and so forth. So he still will buy a $1 million worth in 5 years, but it might be 300 billion by the time he's done, not 100 billion.
Hey, Nico, I have a quick question. Can you briefly explain the point of stable coins? So like, have you ever heard of the reverse trade? Like going based off of what you said of there might not be a bear market anymore now that there's real world adoption with all these utility coins. They're saying there might be a sharp drop just for a second because Japan's been printing money like crazy and they have like basically zero interest rates. But once they start raising their rates and we lower them, that all our money from the treasuries and bonds is going to go back to Japan. But they say the stable coin thing fixes that. And I just don't understand how.
Yeah. I don't either.
They just make it seem like so important that stable coins are such a deal. And I'm like, it just seems like a digital dollar. I don't understand how it's bailing us out of anything.
Well, it's pegged to the US dollar. So a USDT or a USDC is pegged to the US dollar, and they do fluctuate in price by, fractions of a penny. You might notice that the price fluctuation on a USDT is 99.999 cents to $1.01. It goes back and forth, up and down slightly as the dollar fluctuates. The difference is that the stable coin is, so if we do transition over to a digital dollar and they get rid of cash or we're off the old system, supposedly it's going to be a seamless transition where no one's going to even notice, right? Kimberly says they just endlessly make USDT the same as fiat, but that can come to a stop if it's going to be backed by another asset like digital gold, aka Bitcoin. When we were on the gold standard, US dollar was pegged to the value of gold. 1 ounce of gold was equal to $20. $20 gold coin was $20 dollar bill, right? $20 bill back 100 years ago was equal to a $20 gold coin, which was 1 ounce of gold. But when we came off the gold standard, they kept printing dollars, the IOU nothing from the Federal Reserve. Gold continued to hold its value at the ounce of gold, continued to hold its value where the dollar just continued to go down in purchasing power. So getting back on the gold standard technically is what Trump is trying to do, but not with actual physical gold, but with Bitcoin as the digital gold. So if that happens and they can do something like that, because Bitcoin, unlike real gold, Bitcoin really is a finite supply, 21 million Bitcoins that will only ever be minted. There cannot be any more. It's a mathematical equation. Once 21 million are minted or mined, there will not be any more Bitcoin ever being produced. And that is a finite supply. Whereas gold, on the other hand, real gold, they're digging more of it out of the earth every day. There's probably more still in the earth that hasn't been dug up, that more than has ever been dug up so far. There's probably a meteor on its way to Earth with more gold on it. So gold is not as predictable as Bitcoin. So if we go onto the Bitcoin standard instead, the digital gold standard, then we could peg the digital dollar to it. And we are already technically digital, guys. I mean, if you make a deposit, if you take a screenshot of a check, if you take a photo of a check that was given to you on your banking app and deposit it, it's instantly available in your checking account. All you did was type in the amount digitally on your screen, take a screenshot of the check, and instantly digits appear on your bank account balance, right? You transfer money from your savings account to your checking account, instantly, digitally, it's there. It's all digital already, as far as I'm concerned. Very rarely, I mean, unless you go to the ATM and pull cash out, that cash up to this point has been accepted in good faith as dollars, and people will accept it. But once they recall cash, or once they get rid of cash and we go to the digital dollar, that may not be the case anymore. You could have a trunk full of $100 bills. Now, the bank might buy them back for you. The government might take them back for you in exchange for an equal value. That would be the fair and right thing for the government to do. But who else is going to want your $100 bills? Who else is going to want your digital dollars at that point? Nobody. Once a currency or a dollar is deemed inactive or worthless or no longer accepted. If you can't walk into 7-Eleven and give them $1.07 for a Snickers bar, the clerk at the 7-Eleven doesn't even want it, then you need a different medium of exchange. And so if we transfer over to digital dollars, where you just have to swipe your phone, you just have to hold your phone up or a card up to scan it to buy that Snickers bar. They don't even care about your dollars anymore. That's where we're headed. I know that some of us older people in here don't want that to happen because we're so used to the old way, the way it is. We don't want to, we don't want that, because cash, physical dollar bills, was freedom from the system. That was the only way you could literally transact with people without the government knowing about it. Once they put an end to that, I'm not advocating for that, but that's the direction, because, you know, keeping track of nickels and dimes and pennies is a pain in the ass. Do you think they want to do all that anymore? Do you think they want to continue to make coins, paper money, if they don't have to? No. But is that going to leave a lot of people out of the system? People who don't have banking, don't have any credit, don't have anything? They're going to have to find a way to help those people. Let's go back. Somebody says things are moving right now. Let's go back and look what's going on the chart. BTC pumping back up. Uh-oh, let's see. Sorry, I know I get on a tangent every once in a while here, guys, but so we did bounce on this line right here. We could just be in this continuation of this downward trend right now so far. Could just be coming up to the top as we're heading down. Until we make a new high, it's still a lower high, as far as I'm concerned. And look where that goes. Boom. So I can't really answer your question as far as stable coins, other than they're trying to peg it. They're pegging it to the US dollar right now, but they're also trying at the same token to make the US dollar unshakable. They're trying to get, because right now the buying power of the dollar is going down at a rate of 8 to 10% per year. How long can that go on? Inflation over and over and over and over again, until it takes $1 million to buy a loaf of bread. That's what happened in Russia. The ruble, it happened in other countries, guys. Venezuela, where the dollar becomes worthless. And there's in certain parts, where was it? Was it Kenya? No, it wasn't Kenya. It was Zimbabwe. In Zimbabwe, the streets were littered with cash. No one even wanted to bend down to pick it up. $100 bills, $1,000 bills, now $1 million bills, then $1 billion bills, and then $1 trillion bills. Do you believe it? They actually, I have one somewhere. I have a $50 trillion Zimbabwe dollar bill. 50 trillion. You know what you can buy that for as a collector's item on the internet? $20. You can buy a $50 trillion bill for $20. And all you can do is hang it on your wall as a souvenir, because it ain't going to buy shit. That's what happens when the dollar goes, of a dollar of a country goes down to zero. And another thing, guys, by the way, onboarding is coming up in 1 minute. Bill has posted the link in the Zoom chat and in the Discord group. So if you're brand new, make sure you get on that. But one more thing before we wrap this call up, guys, is that the US dollar right now is the strongest currency in the world. We are the reserve. We are the main bully on the street. We are the big dog, right? But we're not the only one who's been in that position before. Throughout history, the Roman Empire, Persia, there's been many big players throughout history that held that title of the most sought out main currency. We're just the current runner-up. We're just the current leader. But if you go back throughout history and look at how long those currencies stayed on top, it averages about 100 years. And we have already passed the 100-year mark. I suspect that we're going to lose that position anytime soon, but eventually we will. Eventually, somewhere, somehow, some way, we could. Will it be China? Will it be Russia? Who else is even close? No one. Just in case you're worrying, no one's even close. So don't worry about it right now. No one's even close. People are worried about Russia. People are worried about China. People are worried about Brexit. They're worried about the BRICS. They're worried about all this stuff. These countries are, that's like us worrying about Kentucky. That's like the United States worrying about Missouri taking over the world. It ain't happening. These countries are so far behind. Even China has huge problems that they cannot overcome right now. These companies are peons compared to us. Our military is 100 times bigger than every one of these countries, and we are like 10 times bigger than all of them combined. That most people don't realize this. Most people are scared when they hear, oh, China's taking over. No, they're not. Ain't gonna happen. Russia's gonna do this. Russia's gonna bomb us. No, they're not. We'll wipe them off the face of the earth in a split second. So don't worry about things like that. And no offense to anybody who's Russian. I'm not advocating for them. I'm just saying that we're not worried about any of that happening. Could it have happened? Yes. Can it get to that point? Yes. If we got leadership in this country that's intentionally trying to destroy America from within, yeah, that could happen. But
I have good information that something will with China will happen within 2 weeks.
I'm sorry, Shawnee, you sound a little muffled. If you want to.
Can you hear me better?
Yeah, I can
Can you
hear
hear me better now?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was saying, on what you were just talking about. I have on really good intel that something with China is going to happen within 2 years. So do with that what you will.
Good or bad? Bad for them, bad for them, or bad for us?
Confrontation could be bad for both.
Yeah.
Just expect something.
Yeah. Well, the current leader of China is a very smart guy. They're not trying to destroy their economy. They're trying to, they have a big economy. They have a booming economy, but they have a problem. You guys remember when China wasn't allowing women to give birth to girls? You guys remember that? If you were pregnant and it was a birth limit on females, they only wanted men. They only wanted boys to be born because they needed more workforce. That caused a huge problem for them and that they were not prepared for decades later. And they're facing a population crisis, or I don't want to say population crisis, but I forget what they call it, but it's gonna cause the ripple effect of what they did is gonna hurt them badly over the coming decades. Yeah, so we got some people that know probably more about it in the chat. We're not going to get on the China issue right now, but if you guys want to talk about it there's probably a side chat in the Discord or even in the conspiracy group. It's not really conspiracy; it is what's actually happening in the world. But I'm not overly worried about it. But this is all the more reason why you guys need to worry about your own personal economy. Don't worry about the overall global economy. A lot of people get so scared about the economy, like, oh well, the economy's bad right now. I can't afford to buy this, and can't even afford, guys. When there's a depression and a recession or a depression and people are really struggling, there's still people flying on private jets, sipping champagne and pulling up in their Rolls Royces. Those people are not affected by the economy. Why? Because their personal economy is not affected. When things get bad, rich people say, oh, it's too bad. I feel so bad for those people. But they're still living in their $4 million waterfront mansion with their yacht in the backyard. So is that good or bad? It is what it is. So my point is that if you can just solve your own economy first, then you can get to that point where, yes, shit can hit the fan and things can get bad for a lot of people, but not for you and not for your family. And I'm not saying that's good or bad, but it is better than being in the same pool as all the things that are going bad for people, right? It would still be better for you to not be in that situation. So all I can say is worry about yourself, because that's the only thing you can control. You can't control what the president's doing, can't control what China's doing, you can't control what Russia's doing, but you can, in the time that you have, get as rich as you humanly possibly can, whatever that means to you, grow your own wealth to the point where you can control your own economy, set yourself up to where you not as effective. If things go bad, it's not going to hurt you so bad personally, and you can take care of your family. And Kimberly says it's never been easier to get rich in America, and that is true. A lot of people complain, "Oh, it's harder now." Oh, my parents, it was easy for them. It was only $7,000 to buy a house. It was easy for them. It was only $2,000 to buy a brand new car. Yeah, but it wasn't easy. It just seems like a lot less to you now, but they still had to work. They were only getting paid, $18,000 a year back then. So it's still the same basically. Things costed less, but they also earned a lot less. It was $3 an hour minimum wage or whatever it was back then. People were working for $1.89 a week. So to buy a car for $2,000 seems so cheap now, but they were also making a lot less. But they didn't have, we got people on the internet now. We got kids who are 16 years old making $1 million a month on TikTok shop. Do any of you guys who are 50 years old or older know what TikTok shop is? Do you know how to open up a store on TikTok and immediately make $1 million in a month? Just because you're selling a product, because you're getting millions of views from TikTokers around the world? I mean, there's this whole other world and economy going on right now that doesn't even make sense. A girl started a OnlyFans page and makes $23 million in a month. Her dad was mad because she was showing herself on a private OnlyFans page. But then you start to think, okay, guys, it would take, I don't know, 10 lifetimes to earn that amount of money. There was a girl in somewhere, I can't remember where it was. She decided to sell her virginity for $10 million, and some Chinese businessman paid her $10 million for her virginity. Now, if you're the father of that girl, you might say, "That's terrible. I can't believe you do that. How dare I would never let my daughter do that." But think about this for a second, because when you look at it in terms of finance, most girls lose their virginity to some loser. No offense to any women on this. Some of you got married, but most girls lose their virginity to just their boyfriend, right? This girl sold her virginity for $10 million, which was enough to set her up for life. Okay.
How many times did she sell it?
That's a good question. I have no idea. But my point is I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I'm saying in the grand scheme of things, I'm sure that there's a lot. And whenever I tell the story to just people I know, most women wish that they sold their virginity for $10 million compared to who they actually gave it up to for free. But the point is that money can be made in so many different ways. And it's easy for us to judge these people for doing these things, but can you really blame them? Where else can someone make that kind of money in 10 lifetimes? I mean, would you rather work 50 years of your life to barely scrape $1 million in gross revenue, or 2 million or 5 million during the course of your whole life of hard work? Or if you had a choice, would you go on some website where you sell your feet pictures to disgusting perverts and make $1 million in a month? Now, I can't blame these girls for doing this. That's an opportunity that just never existed before. So more power to everybody. I don't care how you do it. Now, there is a moral issue. There is that thing you could say, I would never do it just because it goes against my beliefs. Okay, well, then you don't do it. But can you really blame people for doing it? Because making money is hard to a lot of people. Life is hard. Life is rough. If you can figure out a way to do it quicker, by all means, listen, set yourself up. As long as you're not doing anything illegal, you're not hurting anybody, do what you got to do. But in my opinion, what we're doing here, once you understand this, once you figure it out, the opportunity is unlimited. It's limitless. And there's not many things out there that the average person can do to make, hundreds of thousands or millions or unlimited money on the internet without selling a product, without selling yourself, without having to provide some kind of service to someone else, whether it's selling your feet pics or cleaning houses or running a hair salon or whatever, providing a service to somebody else where you have to trade your time or hire a bunch of people to trade their time for money. There's really not many things out there, guys, that you can do to get super rich, unless you start really young and invest in things like real estate. And over time, you build it up. But that is very hard work, as most of you know. I hate to even say that things are hard, because that is a limiting belief, and that kind of puts out into the universe that things have to be hard when it's obvious that there are people making money very easily. So it doesn't have to be hard, is what I'm saying. but there is a learning curve to everything. If you want to start an OnlyFans page, it's still hard. You got to get through the mental blocks. You got to be able to create the page. You have to have something to offer. You have to be something that people want to buy in the first place. Just because you're selling your virginity for 10 million doesn't mean anybody wants to buy it, right? You have to have an offer that is appealing to people. But I don't even know where I was going with this argument, but the point is that you guys need to get rich, right? You need to get rich. And I know that's why you're here. You want to make a lot of money. And when I say rich, it's all different for everybody. Some people it's 500,000 in the bank. Some people it's 5 million in the bank. Some people it's 50 million in the bank. It's all relevant to what you need and what you think you need and what your goals are. But we got people, and we talked about on this call. Well, yeah, Kimberly, you're right. We are rich compared, and you're saying that as an affirmative statement. We are rich. It's already done, but we are already rich compared to most of the people on the planet. The fact that you're on this Zoom right now, the fact that you can trade live, that you have the internet, that you have an iPhone, already puts you in the top, 1% of the entire population. I think to be in the 1% income earners right now in the world, not in the United States, but in the world, you have to make like $35,000 a year or more. Believe that. Isn't that crazy? Because the majority of the people, like billions of people, live in India and China and some of these impoverished countries where no one makes anywhere near that amount. Africa and things like that, where there's some people that are rich there, but the majority of the people do not make anywhere near what the very lowest income earner in the United States makes. So consider yourself rich and privileged in that regard. But I think if you just count the United States, I think to be in the top 1%, you need to make 400,000 or above. And so that's not that far away, guys. For most of you, that's not that far away. That's not that hard to do, trading. It's just a matter of getting over that hump and getting through that learning curve. So I just encourage you all that if this is overwhelming to you, or if you're still kind of trying to figure things out, just stay focused, just keep learning, keep tuning into these calls, keep getting on the live calls, because every little nuance, every little nugget you get is an aha moment. It's a light bulb going on. It's like, oh my God, I was on a call today with somebody before this call started. She was having issues. Finally, something clicked for her a couple of weeks ago, and she started making consistently profitable trades. And she was like thanking me, and oh my God, I almost gave up. I almost quit. Now I got it. Now I figured it out. It was just something I couldn't understand why this kept happening. And that happens so many times. You should see in the DMs. And Bill, who's not on this call because he went to the onboarding, Bill is doing the basics calls, and people are telling him this every day. So remember, when you see these wins in the wins walls, 11,000, tokens or 3,000%, these are people who just finally got it. They finally got it. Repetition is the key. Yes, Kimberly, I appreciate your contribution in this chat. You got some good little nuggets here. Repetition is the key to subconscious reprogramming, new neutral pathways. Yes, absolutely, guys. So just keep tuning in, keep plugging in, keep moving forward. You're going to have the breakthroughs. Those of you who've already have the breakthroughs, thanks for sharing. A lot of you are, by the way, guys, we got people in this group that are doing interviews with me. They're going to be, we're going to be going live with them on Zoom like we are now with me and Chad, but we're going to have a lot more people in the group doing these Zoom calls as well, in addition to ours, where you can get on and listen to them and hear what they're doing. And so it's not just me and Chad. We're going to have other people that have reached the level of success in here that not everybody wants to, and I don't blame them. Here's the problem, guys. When you see people that are doing really well in the group, they start to get a lot of messages from people in the group, and then they can't handle it because they're not here to teach you. They're not here to take all your questions. They're here to learn. And then they finally get it and they post their wins, and all of a sudden, all you 1,000 people start messaging, DMing them. Hey, I saw your, how did you do this? How did you do this? Can you get on a call with me? Can I pick your brain for a minute? They're like tuning out. They're like, oh shit, no. And then they block you. Before you know it, you don't even hear from them in the group anymore because they didn't join this group to get on a bunch of free calls with other members to teach them stuff. But however, there are some of you that want to help and want to get on. And that's why we always say, listen, if you don't want to, don't, by all means. But if you want to, we'll make a space for you to help. Maybe do one call, explain things. And if you're really good and you want to, guys, if you're really good and you want to apply to have your own call with us, where you're just, part of the team, And we can have that conversation as well. We are interviewing people for that because we are going to add to the roster here. We're going to add not only more live calls, but more pro traders in the group that are going to be working with Crypto Renegades to help you guys grow. Okay, so thanks again for being here. Right now, I'm going to just share real quick before I end the call. I'm going to share my screen one more time and show you where we're at in the grand scheme of things. We're still in this overall downward trending bull flag. Bitcoin, we hit the top. We are kind of trending down, possibly to this point right here where this apex is, where we got all these lines converging, and that is the center line where we usually would bounce before we break out. If we don't bounce there and we break through again and come back down to the bottom here and retest the 112 again, then it just might take a little longer to get back up there. But I don't foresee that happening. I think that this might be it for the next run up. And same with some of these other tokens. Let's go back and look real quick. XLM. One more time. I'm still in this trade. I am positive it is moving up again from this bounce, which is positive. I'm still in my long from where I was. I know someone asked earlier if this was a good entry point. I said, yes, if you want, just put your stop loss under this line. But we also want to see if it gets above this, back up above this resistance. It could just come up and hit it and bounce, come back down. We will wait and see. But those are the two trades I'm in right now, Bitcoin and XLM. I will share any changes that I see in the chat going into the weekend. I might go live again tomorrow or Sunday, guys, just for an extra bonus call because I will be home this weekend. I don't have any other plans, so I will probably do that, especially if I see anything fun and exciting happening. All right. Can you briefly describe the procedure for getting a referral link? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I didn't see that question earlier. Go into, hold on one second. You want to go into the school, into the Crypto Renegades school classrooms right here, and then come down here to affiliate program and then register for an affiliate link here. Now, somebody was said that they were having a problem with that. So do this first and then email us or message Chad directly in Discord if you did not get your referral link, okay? If you have a problem with that, but that's the process. And when you click on this, it'll explain everything here. Register now, 20% commission for every referral you make, that kind of thing. To anybody that joins Crypto Renegades, depending on what level they come in on. All right, guys. ETH is at 4,000 again. It just popped back above it. That's good. We'll keep an eye on that as well. Ethereum, XRP, Bitcoin. Those are my three majors that I hold. I'm not only trading it, but I'm buying more of it all the time. XRP, guys, I'm very excited about XRP. I think if XRP does what some of the big players are saying it could do, if Ripple ends up getting the contracts and the banking affiliations that it is supposedly in right now, and all that falls into place where to the degree that these people are saying it is happening, we could see $1,000 XRP someday. I don't know what that would do for you, but if you only have one XRP, it's not going to mean much. But if you have 10,000 XRP or 5,000 XRP or 1,000 XRP, 1,000 XRP, that would make you a millionaire. 1,000 XRP right now is only like what, $2,500? That's a huge ROI. But some of you, I already know because from the conversations that I have, including myself, we have tens of thousands of XRP. I've been buying XRP since it was 15 cents. So if XRP hits $1,000, I already told you guys would all be getting some nice gift from me. An expensive gift from me too, not some cheap gift. Oh, there'll be plenty, Keith. Don't worry. The family will get taken care of as well. Spending on you guys are the family. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. We're going into the weekend. I'll keep an eye on this. Get on the, if you're, obviously you should be on the onboarding already if you're new, but make sure you get on Bill's basics calls on Wednesdays. Go watch the replay. Also, in the main Discord group, in the private Discord group, rather, there is a replay of the basics call as well. So if you haven't been on one of those in a while, or you think there might be some basic stuff you need to learn, go watch that as well. Bill post that in there. I will see you in the chat. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I will talk to you soon. If you have any private questions you want to ask, just send them in.